Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone around the globe. This is The Experiment. I'm your host, Joe Soro. A little bit of an early start for us here on the West Coast, Pacific Standard Time, but there's a lot going on this evening. One being that the Dodgers are going to be starting a new series against the Minnesota Twins, and there will be more basketball shows on the LFB. So I wanted to make sure I had a show that was able to get in here before everyone else's. I know late night is probably good for most of you, but I'm doing a little test here to see how things work after 5 o'clock. I know some of you are probably coming from work or coming out of work on the West Coast. I apologize for that. Hopefully, you guys can join us here in the next 10, 15 minutes when you get home and settle up. But for those of you out in Australia or on the East Coast or in the Central Time Coast, you guys should be able to get me here and we can talk a little shop here. Topic of discussions today are going to be obviously the Dodgers and their, uh, I'd say, pretty horrible 3 weeks. It's been a really, really bad 3 weeks. Actually, probably as bad as I've seen it in the last decade, I'd say. I don't remember how it was between 2013, 2015. I'd have to go back and really look at the memory on that. But this is the worst I've seen him play. And it's interesting that that's the case because I don't understand why. This is supposed to be the best team, at least in the modern game, best team ever assembled, depth wise, talent wise, and yet all the IL stints, all the pitchers that have kind of fallen the wayside on the IL as well. There's just not any. There's not any domination anywhere. There's no since the beginning of the year, and even then they weren't really dominating. They were really playing and kind of squeaking games out at the beginning. But the Dodgers haven't necessarily been. They've had some good winning weeks. They've had some good players, guys like Freddie, guys like Shohei, guys like Edmund. Kind of have a good month, but there's not been a lot of consistency. There hasn't been really anyone that's started from the beginning and has played well from the beginning. There's always been this slump from everybody. And one of the big issues, and from my eyes, in terms of the losses, is the top of the order. Even though Shohei is still doing Shohei things, there have been too many times in too many games the last 3 weeks where the top of the order is non-existent. As when you have that much money put on one, two, and three, you got to have at least one of those guys going off at all times. And there was a moment there where it just seemed like all three of them weren't really doing much. And when I say not doing much, Otani has exceeded any failure at any moment of the game. So that one I'm gonna kind of ease up on because even when he's playing bad, he still gets a couple singles and gets on base in some way. So that's kind of how that is. But strikeouts do cause an issue, and he's always been a strikeout guy. He strikes out way too much for my taste. And if he strikes out a couple times a game, and Mookie and Freddie Freeman are not hitting, it's a even if Shohei gets a single or gets on base from a walk, it's not good. One of those guys has to be going off for it to not hurt as much. And then you've had the Will Smiths. Actually, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Will Smith's been playing really, really well for the last since the beginning. Now, Will Smith's a unique one. That's probably why I forgot to mention him. Will Smith is being saved up too. He is kind of held back a little bit, at least 2 or 3 games a week, so that they don't lose his ability towards the end of the year. And they've been doing a great job of it. Made the All Star team, still leading the league and the National League in batting average. And looking at the average right now is looking at the statistics in the National League, especially with batting. Right now, Will Smith is batting 323. Now, I remember back in the day, and I'm not talking about 1998. I'm talking about like 5 years ago. Anyone who was batting 323 was probably like top five, maybe in the batting area. Well, Will Smith is batting 323, and he's almost 30 points ahead of the guy that's second. Kyle Stowers has a 295 average. No one in the National League that is qualified to be a stat leader in batting average other than Will Smith, has a 300 at bat. I have never seen that. I've never seen that in my baseball life ever. So uh, some of the things that we went into this season hoping for. I'm just going to say this: I never thought it never even crossed my mind. I never even thought about in any way that Will Smith would be on his way to a batting title. Never would have ever guessed that. I would have guessed Edmund would win a batting title. I would have guessed Freddie Freeman would win a batting title. Hell, I would have expected Mookie Betts to win a batting title before Will Smith. And this is not a knock on Will Smith. Again, he's a catcher. Catchers get tired throughout the year. But being at this distance, now going to almost, we're about, 10 days from getting into August. I guess somebody could go on a run and go up 25 points, but I'm not seeing any evidence of that from anyone. So I I think Will Smith's going to end up winning the batting title, and hopefully he is fresh in the end of the year, and we'll get a chance to see him continue to do the good things that he's doing when it matters. So, uh, good news also from good news from the Max Muncy camp. Max is already fielding at third, and there's some talk that 4 to 6 week return might actually be closer to the 4 than the 6. So that to me was the best news, even through all this losing yesterday. I'm crossing my fingers that Max Muncy can get back probably at the beginning of August, if not the first week of August instead of the middle. The quicker Muncy gets back, the easier I think things will get. Guys like Edmund, had their moments at the beginning of the year and have kind of come back down to earth and even kind of went under the earth. I don't know if Max Muncy can infuse some juice in there, but I do know that we won't have to worry about Edmund playing third. Edmund is not a third baseman, and this last few games have put a dent in some of these wins because certain plays weren't being able to get made. Teoscar Hernandez is injured, and I don't see any other reason why he can't run down a ball. I know he's not the best of fielders, but I know he's not this bad. So the Dodgers have kind of been playing tennis with each other. They're either not scoring on offense to lose games, or their defense is absolutely coming up lame. And this is something that needs to get fixed. And I don't know what Dave Roberts is going to do there. Maybe do some kind of mental gymnastics there with these guys. But a lot of these plays that I'm seeing, they look out of whack. They look like they're not focused. I don't know if I'm being too hard on them, but it just looks like the focus isn't there. They're not paying attention to angles. Again, there's a lot of things that are going on there, and I know some of them might be injured, but this last game that the Dodgers lost against the Brewers, that was purely defensive issues. And if Edmund gets his guy out on that third out, the Dodgers don't go 3-3 after the third inning. They go out. They still have a 3-0 lead, and that ended up likely costing them the game. Okay, so the boys are coming in here. Let's see here. Fidgets not doing Dodgers things. I don't know what the fidgets are. That must be an Australian thing. Send the link so I can hop on the stream and dance. Yeah, CMB, that's probably not going to happen. So handsome, George Lopez. I don't know if you've seen George Lopez lately. Looks like a lot of TDS has ate at his face. He needs to go somewhere and get that fixed, by the way. Will the Angels make the playoffs, Joe? Ooh, good question. Good question. Right now, the Angels are still hovering around that 500 area. I think they're maybe a game down. Let me look here real quick. They're a game down from being 500. Probably not. Probably not, Dennis. I don't think so. I think it's realistic to say that they probably could finish 80, 82, 80, 81, 81, 80, 82. I think they have a good shot at that. They've been 500 pretty much almost all year. But to make the playoffs, I don't think so. Because right now you're looking at Toronto, You're looking at New York. You're looking at Boston. You're looking at Tampa, that's fourth in that division, only 6.5 games back from first, that all have a chance at winning the division and are all over 500. Then you look at Detroit. They're 60-40. They're probably going to run away with that division because Cleveland's kind of hovering around where the Angels are, just right around 500, and they're out about 11 games. And then you have Houston, you have Seattle, and you have the Rangers. So the likelihood of the Angels sneaking in, they'd have to go on like a 12, 13 straight game run to probably catch up to those wild card areas. Maybe catch up to Houston, but I don't think they're going to make it. But I do see them getting to 500 possibly. Okay, what good, Joe? Hey, Trayvon, how you doing, brother? Joe Sorrell, would you rather work for ESPN or Fox Sports? I'd rather work for Fox. ESPN, Disney has gone down the crap hole so badly. I don't think someone like me, I just don't think someone like me would connect with the way Disney runs things. Fox Sports is not like Fox News, at least from what I know. It's a completely different, I think, hiring practices. I think Fox News is more, they know they're a tabloid right wing mouthpiece, and they get very, very high ratings from that. So they pander to that, and I don't pander to anything. So that's how that is. But Fox Sports, I think Fox Sports needs a talent. I think Fox Sports needs someone to maybe be their flagship. And if they came to talk to me and they had a legitimate observation and a legitimate idea and a collaboration, I would love to do something with them. I'd be willing to sit down and negotiate that. Craig, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Legend, did you see what Shaq said, Joe? He said he would win 6 rings with Steph Curry and said other stuff. Yeah, I did see that. I don't know Shaq. It's Shaq being Shaq. Sometimes Shaq tends to talk out of either an ear, talk out of his nose, talk out of his mouth, talk out of his ass. Shaq is the talker of different areas, and this is a topic that's interesting. I actually was trying to make sense of this ever since the Tracy McGrady comment. So I'm led to believe at that time. I'll give you guys the three that I remember vividly at the time. The scoring guard studs, the scoring guard perennial all stars of that era. So you had Kobe, you had AI, Allen Iverson, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter. Those were like the 4 main guys, right? So let's look at out of those 4 bunch. Let's look at, I'd say Vince Carter's probably the least talented guy there, even though he was the most freakishly athletic one, the number one in terms of freakish athleticism one. He didn't really dominate. He didn't really dominate his position. He did get further than Tracy McGrady in the playoffs, though. But I'll get to that in a minute. But as far as the talent, the level of talent, I still say the peak Tracy McGrady is better than Vince Carter at his peak from a basketball standpoint. But Vince Carter. So let's look at Vince Carter. This is funny. I was talking about the Dodgers. Now we're going basketball and talking about what happened in the early 2000s. But anyways, that's the whole point of the experiment. We're experimenting, right? So Vince Carter on the Lakers for the 3-peat run. Do you see Vince Carter hitting game-winning shots against Phoenix? Do you see him hitting series-saving shots and making series-saving passes and blocks in the Portland series? Do you see Vince Carter on one leg going into overtime in Game 4 in Indiana and basically taking that whole team on his back and closing that game out in Indiana while Shaq was fouled out? And do you see Kobe, if he's not rolled up in terms of his ankle, do you see the Indiana Pacers going 6? That's a discussion that doesn't get talked about enough. And I'll get to that in a second when I talk about Kobe. It's going to look like we're biased, but there's nothing in Vince Carter's career that would have told me that Vince Carter would have won even a single championship with Shaq in that time. So Vince is out of the way. Number 3. This is debatable, but I'm going to put AI in front of T-Mac. AI won an MVP, and I believe at his peak, he was by far and away better than Tracy at his peak by a hair in terms of basketball. Tracy McGrady. This is going to be a quick one because this is where this all started. Tracy McGrady didn't win a single first-round series when he was the guy, or even when he was the second guy. Whether he was playing with Yao Ming, whether he was playing in Orlando, didn't matter. Didn't win a single first round series. So, do I see Tracy McGrady winning even one championship in 2000, 2001, 2002 with Shaq? Well, stats say, results say absolutely not. They don't win one damn series or title. I'm sorry, they don't win a title with Tracy McGrady as a Laker during that time. Not one. Series, yes, but title, no. So that's that. Now, AI, whom I have put number 2 as the best scoring guard of that era, net behind Kobe. And AI in 2001 was really AI from 1996 to about 2005, 2004. I'll say 2004. Was as good as you could have hoped for with Allen Iverson. As good as a guy that's 5'11", with freakish handles, with freakish athleticism, and the freakish ability to get to a basket at 5'11" and make 7-footers and big people look like fools. Does Allen Iverson win a championship during that run? The answer is yes. I see him winning at least one. Now, you have to factor in just setting the 3 years with the same team, just subtracting Kobe and putting in the other scoring guard. Because if you look at the tenor of that time, if the Lakers don't win a championship in 2000, they probably split that team up. So in reality, it may have not happened. And I want you to also imagine this, guys. If if and I'm saying that AI would win one also because of his talent. However, I want you to factor this in too. If Phil Jackson didn't get along with Kobe, how do you think it would have worked out with AI? AI would have been worse. See, at least Kobe could kind of put things back when things mattered. But AI was AI 100% of the day, every day, no matter what was going on. And that's not a slight on him. That's just who he was. Kobe could scale back because he was more obsessed with winning than he was being right, listening to the coach, or not listening to the coach in the right moments. So AI, I would give him one if that team was intact the whole 3 years, which I don't believe would have. I believe they would have ended up breaking up after the 2000 series or 2000 playoff run had they lost. But that's something we'll never know. So before all those guys, you had Penny Hardaway, and Penny Hardaway doesn't get thrown in there because Penny Hardaway got injured, unfortunately, not too long after Shaq left, and he just never really was able to fulfill that kind of like the other shooting guard stud that he was at the beginning of his career. Grant Hill, you could throw in there as well as the perimeter guy, but he was more of a small forward, and he got riddled with injuries as well. Dwayne Wade ended up winning a championship with Shaq in 06. That series was an interesting one. I guess if you had switched out Kobe for D Wade, yeah, I could see D Wade winning one in that time, but I don't see him winning two, and I don't see him winning three. So AI and D Wade winning one. And anyone else? I don't see anybody three-peating. I only see Shaq and Kobe three-peating. And of course, me arguing that with Shaq isn't going to be a good look for me because I didn't play there, right? Shaq can say what he wants. He was the guy that was winning championship at the time. But from my basketball observation and knowing who Kobe was and how he executed in areas where people don't really pay attention to, the footwork, the placement on where he is on the court, how those things matter in a 48 game series, a 48 minutes game, and then how that spills over to a series. These things all matter. These things all have to be put there. And when you look at the things that Kobe did during that three-peat run, you would realize more if you get away from the point average and the field goal percentage. You'll realize how valuable he was. And I would bet my house that if you sat down with Tim Duncan, and you could probably sit with Pop, and really, really talk about it behind closed doors, ask them that question, and I'm sure that they'd probably answer it in the same way, in some way. And they'll also tell you that that was the guy they feared. The best team of that era with the Lakers, and there's no arguing that, it was the Spurs and it was the Lakers during that era. You go ask Tim Duncan in private, not in public, in private, go ask Popovich in private, any of those guys, even Manu and even Tony Parker, who was the guy they feared on the Lakers during that time? And I would bet my house that they'd say Kobe Bryant. So when you have your greatest rival of an era tell you who they feared, you might want to give that guy a little credit. Great, great, great comment there, legend. You just became a legend with that, an official legend. Joe Sorrell, will USC fire Lincoln Riley after this season? Thoughts on him as a coach? Great question, Dennis. I don't think so. When you have, first of all, Lincoln Riley went from Oklahoma to USC. USC culture, California culture, players of the West Coast are a completely different breed. They don't listen like they do in Alabama. They don't listen like they do at Clemson. They don't listen like they do in the South. I'll just say the South, right? Hell, I don't even think they listen as well in the South as they do. They don't listen in Texas as well as they as much as they do in the South. So it's kind of like a scale. Like they really, really discipline. They understand discipline in the South, and then as it goes west more, it gets less and less and less. So Lincoln Riley, I think they've invested way too much money in him to just let him go after 3 years. I think it's a bad look. It's a bad deal. I think there needs to be at least one full recruiting class to come in here to see what he's about. I would give him 2 more years, maybe even 3. USC, as storied a school as it is in football, there's not as much pressure there. At least me being in the area, I don't hear as much pressure, especially when the Lakers and Dodgers are kind of the story. There's not as much pressure then for those guys. They were important in the 2000s, that's for sure, because the Lakers were kind of struggling after the breakup of Shaq and Kobe in 04, and they kind of filled in the gap there. And then, of course, the Dodgers were in the Frank McCourt era, and we all know how bad that was. But I think you got to let this thing run a little bit and see if there's some way Lincoln Riley can get his quarterback. If he can get his quarterback, then I think you start seeing USC winning. But that's what he needs. He needs to get some kind of a Jalen Hurts. He needs to get somebody over there that can run what he can run. But I'll that's a great question. I think that's something we'll definitely discuss more of. Please bring college football information to the show. This is called The Experiment. I know some of you guys are used to the Lakers fast break, but this is you'll find out in a few weeks here that this may end up being a football show more often than not. I'm a football guy. Football's in my blood. Love it. Drink it. I would still be playing it if my body allowed me to play it. But again, it's Kyler Murray. Even if you can somehow get some kind of a Kyler Murray over there in USC, I think that would help immensely. Who will have a better season, the Chargers or the Rams? Wow, that's another good question. Dennis, good. You're the man. Excellent questions. Whew. You know what? I'm going to say they're probably going to even out. I don't think the Rams are going to have as good of a season as Rams fans want them to have, but I think the Chargers will go up a notch. Not a lot, but a little. Just a little. Because it always takes time for Harbaugh to get things where he wants. Charger fans are going to need to be patient here. And it's just how this works. It's how Harbaugh works. It takes a while to get used to him, get used to his system. And the hilarious part about that is right when he starts to hit the big time is probably right around the beginning when people start to get tired of him too. But at this point, Justin Herbert might be Justin Herbert might be the main issue right now. Is Justin Herbert going to have a better season than the Rams, anybody? There's some talk right now. There's some noise. I hear things. And as I hear things, I gotta bring in my guy who knows what I'm talking about. What's up, John?
Hey, what's
Happy
up, Joe?
to see you while I hear things. Uh, I think the question for the Chargers, more so than even the Rams, LA, or anything, is could this be a head scratcher at the end of the year for Justin Herbert? What do you think, Sean?
Well, knowing the Chargers like I know the Chargers, Joe, and you know them better than I do, I think you might be onto something there.
That's just it's a great question. By the way, Dennis, just killing it with the topics. I love to be challenged. I love to be challenged, and that's the whole point of the experiment. Is some of these guys don't know.
I'll put it this. I'll put it this way. Okay, I'll put it this way. And that is a great question, Dennis. Denver has a better roster than the Chargers do. No question. 100%. Like I'm not going to hear an argument from anybody about that. That doesn't necessarily mean we're going to have a better season, though, Joe. But right now, I'd bet that probably like you said, I think the Chargers finished third.
Well, see, the thing with Denver is, so so they have Bo Nix, and the NFL has changed so much in the last 20 years in terms of the quarterback position. Uh, Jaden Daniels in Washington, there's a lot of talk right now. Is he an MVP? Is he a top 3 quarterback? And I'm trying to go, whoa, slow your roll. You guys don't get you guys don't get yourself in trouble here. You guys saw what's happened to CJ Stroud in the second year. The NFL is different now. It's different than it was before. Before it used to be, oh my God, John Elway came into the league. Oh my God, Peyton Manning threw for 28 interceptions as a rookie. Like, imagine a quarterback throwing 28 even if his name is Peyton, even if his name is Steve Manning and he's a Manning now, right? Let's say he's his other brother, right? Or son. Dude, you cannot throw 28 interceptions and you cannot have a rookie season like John Elway had in 83. You have those seasons, you're probably done. So, what's flipped on that is sometimes you get the Vince Youngs, the CJ Strouds, Jalen Daniels, these guys who have amazing rookie seasons. And then all of a sudden, the second year hits and they kind of come back down to earth because the team's adjusted. And then those guys sometimes don't adjust to the adjustment. They start smelling their own butts and thinking it smells like roses. No, that's not how it works. And you should listen to Tom Brady on this. Tom Brady spoke about this years ago. He goes, I had to adjust every offseason. I'm paraphrasing, of course. He had to adjust to what they were adjusting to. Mind you, this was a quarterback, too, that couldn't run. It's doubly amazing what a career he had. So when you hear arguably the greatest quarterback ever talk about how he had to adjust every season, quarterbacks need to take that and really, really, really implement that in their training. So, as far as the Chargers are concerned and how that's going to play out with the Rams, Stafford is Stafford. Stafford is Stafford. I don't know who I can. Sean, I think you can help me with this, and I have a pretty good feeling you're going to probably say the right name. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yes. Who is Matt Stafford? Who is his comp from the past?
Oh man.
Like I can't think of anybody. I can't. I couldn't. I was. Somebody had asked me a question because I have a lot of family from Michigan. Obviously,
Mm-mm.
they, and he was a big part of their, when he was in Detroit. I don't have a comp for him, and it's weird.
Mm-mm.
I'm like, who is it? Burt Jones from the '70s that I didn't see play, but I see similar stats about, or was he a Daryl LaMonica type? Was he? uh Could you say maybe he had a little bit of Staubach in him? I don't know. I don't think so. I think Staubach was a little more mobile.
Mm-mm.
But I can't think of anyone. He's probably one of the more unique players. The guy's
Yes.
got a rocket arm.
His arm is very like if you had to compare his arm is very comparable to Warren Moon and Jeff George. Like
Okay.
he could just
See, I knew
launch
you were
it.
gonna say Jeff George. So I knew you were gonna say Jeff George. I was thinking Jeff George, but the only reason why I didn't say it was because his career sucked.
It
But that
did.
was the fucking guy I was thinking about. That was it. See, I told you Sean would say the name. I know he would say the name. So he is essentially Jeff George, but not an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like a humble Jeff George. Like he knows he's very talented. He just doesn't have to let
Yeah,
everybody know
yeah.
every 5 seconds.
Yo, 100% on that one.
And I love and look, he had all the talent in the world, but he just had to let everybody know, Joe. It was like I know a lot of guys stick up for him. But yeah, he was just he like that 1 year in Oakland was terrible.
Yeah, he had one really good year in I think in Minnesota.
Hmm.
I think that was, and Denny Green was the coach, and I remember thinking even at the time when I was young, I was like, maybe because I really liked Jeff George, I really did.
Yeah,
I
the
said
talent
maybe
was
maybe
there,
he
man.
would play better with, like, if Bill Cowher was there, like he was that guy that could kind of reel him in. But I don't think the Roonies would have ever taken a chance on that. I remember the
And Joe,
yeah.
you it's a lot of it is you talk a lot about this with football players is what team drafts you and who develops you, man. Like, could you have picked a worse franchise to get drafted by in the early '90s than the Colts?
Probably not. The Colts at the time, man, it was the Colts and the Patriots were so bad
Like
in
terribly bad, like 3-13,
they were
4-12. Yeah.
they almost made the Bengals look worse, look better. Now the Bengals at the time weren't as bad, right? So they weren't the Bengals yet, but Indianapolis needed a god to come fix their problem. And of course, that's exactly what they got, right? And then when you look at the Patriots god was Robert Kraft. Yeah, it was it it's crazy when you talk about leadership. Um it Leadership comes in so many forms in so many areas, and sometimes it is an owner, sometimes it is an executive like a Jerry West who knows what's going on, and the owner might not know, so he relies on that GM. And then of course ultimately the talent on the field is, or on the court, or that's ultimately going to be the easiest way to change things around, because talented players are going to be the ones that are going to help you win, and when you win, that's the barometer in terms of your success and your how smart you are. But even then, Sean, even then, Peyton Manning only won one title. He only won one title with all of his genius. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that, and I'm not going to dog on a man who's passed away here. I wasn't necessarily a big Irsay fan. I didn't dislike him. I just wasn't a fan of someone who was in charge of something like this that wasn't always right in the head. It was more just business side. Because who am I to say anything bad about Jim Irsay? Peyton Manning absolutely was devastated when he passed away, and that told me right away that hey, I can't say anything ill will about the guy, and I never really have. I've said some jokes about him getting caught with coke and shit, but
Mhm.
I never said, "Oh fuck Jim Irsay," right? Like I've never done that. But again, there's a reason why Tom Brady has 6 championships with New England. You had Bob Kraft, arguably one of the best owners in sports. You had the best coach, arguably there, and then of course you had him doing what he's doing. This is a these levels work, man. President, general, sergeants, lieutenants, soldiers. Like
Since
there's got to
time
be
time immemorial.
a time of memorial, just like at the time of memorial, right? And when any of
But
those
yeah,
things are broken, then it becomes harder to make that work. And that's what that is. It's hard to make it work. But
because you can't put Humpty Dumpty back together again.
no, you can't. And the thing is with football too, Dennis. Again, thank you again for the question.
So that being said, Joe, how would you rank the rosters in the NFC West?
Well, I'm gonna continue to go with KC number one. Uh, I Denver 2, Chargers 3,
Mhm.
and then
And
the
how about
Raiders.
need a couple more years? Spytek's doing an look, Joe. It's weird, man. I got Michigan guys running my hockey team, running my football team, running my basketball team. Uh, got to trust in the Michigan. I think Spytek's doing an okay job, but he needs a couple more years. Needs a couple more years.
I really hope that you guys get the franchise quarterback. That's what the Raiders need. I know every team needs that, but you guys really need it. You need a man. You know who you guys would have needed. You know who Jim Burrow would have been the Jim
Joe
Burrow.
Burrow, yeah, Joe,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ, Joe Burrow would have been the perfect Vegas quarterback.
Oh yeah.
The glitz, the personality, the Raider. Yeah. Uh I want to do a rendition of John Facenda's Audible, by the way.
Which is why it's important this year, Joe, and just a little segue. Don't don't be shocked. Don't be shocked, Joe, if a lot of people try and cut Arch down a peg this year because it's his first year starting. He should be the number one overall pick from what I've seen, and we've seen little of him, but what I've seen I like. Texas is missing both tackles, Joe. Both
Mhm.
starting senior tackles are gone. That's huge at college. I don't need to tell you. You played. You know better than I do. He's going to be missing two solid bookend tackles, and it's going to be hard for him because he's going to have to learn how to throw in pocket pretty quickly. Because
They'll
this is the SEC, brother. This is the SEC, and Joe, this is the first time in about man, this is probably the first time in about 50 years an SEC conference could have the number one, number two players taken at quarterback. Over, like that's nuts. How far we've come here.
just
But yeah,
the riches just keep riching.
well, we'll see. We'll see how Nussmeier does. He struggled a little last year, but these LSU quarterbacks, man, they find a way to get in the NFL.
Well, Sarkeesian is a offensive genius, you could say.
Hmm.
So does he open up that line so that Arch can run and hope that they're not playing a top 2, top 3, interior defensive line team, like if they had played Michigan last year, couldn't probably do that, right? And use Arch's athleticism if he can't. Stepping up into the pocket is going to be is going to be what he does a lot this year. And to me, the hardest thing to do as a quarterback is to step. It's easy to roll out, and in a lot of ways, it's easy even if it's against your dominant arm. Running, stepping up, and still passing, because there's a feeling that you're not supposed to. When a car's coming, you're not supposed to walk to it. But can you walk to it and throw it accurately and then know that you're going to get hit? That's going to be the question that I would ask Arch. I go, look, man, if we don't got the protection for you on the edges, you're going to have to use your athleticism. You have to make the call on when to run, when not to run, and also if you want to have a really good year, you're going to have to figure out a way on occasion to step up into that pocket and throw it accurately on a slant, on a deep route. Again, it is college. It's not NFL. If it was NFL, it'd be toast. But at the same time, I guess maybe get yourself ready for it.
I just don't like the idea that somehow, and this always happens. Somehow, some scouts are going to get in their head that somehow because he had two, one freshman, one junior tackle, that somehow he can't play in the structure of an offense. Sir, like you remember, Joe, Bill Polian said that Lamar Jackson should be a wide receiver. And he was a excellent talent evaluator. Like, there's no doubt about it. He's responsible for that one Super Bowl Ursay has. But
I have not. I maybe it's on YouTube. I have no idea. I no. I'm asking like not. This is not a rhetorical question. I have no or a comment or a patronizing comment, condescending comment. All those things. I don't know what Bill Polian saw to make that assessment. Did Lamar Jackson come in to Louisville? Did he play wide receiver coming in?
no, he was
He
a
was always a
quarterback.
quarterback.
He was always a quarterback.
So what did he see to make this guy? Because I have not seen. I don't know what that means. Like, did he think he was going to be a Hines Ward? I don't know. That's weird. That's a weird one. Maybe he saw
Yeah.
Hines Ward. Hines Ward played quarterback at Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
and then they turned him into a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and he's one of those guys you got to give the benefit of the doubt, just like what you said. Bill Polian built the Buffalo Bills, for Super Bowl team, right? Apparent team, built that Indianapolis team. We talk about Tim Conley building Denver and their team, and then of course Minnesota. Man, look, if you build two teams, you're automatically a great executive.
Right.
Like it's already hard to build
Right.
one, let alone two in two
Right.
separate areas. Although building two in the same areas actually could be even harder because a lot of times you don't last that long. But that would be an interesting one. Remember context? Context,
Mm-hmm.
right? This isn't Hugh Culverhouse saying this back in the 80s, right? This is Bill Polian. So I would have slowed my roll right away. I would have said, oh, hold on. Before you guys say we know why he said he needs to be a receiver, this is Bill Polian. This guy knows talent more than any of you motherfuckers. So I want to know why. I want to know why first. Context, please. Can you relax? Find out. Because you guys probably don't know who the hell Bill Polian is. Guys, again, football people will eventually be here too. Most football people know who Bill Polian is.
So Joe, overall, the grade for the Marcus Smart pickup,
Well,
a B.
I know that you weren't upset, but you don't think it's much, right?
Yeah.
My thing is if he plays 60, 65 games
Mm-hmm.
and he's gonna play better defense than anyone that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't trade anything for him.
And Luca wanted to really play with him.
And if
So
Luca really wanted to play with him, they already sent his boy DFS. Well, they didn't send him out, but they couldn't sign him. So apparently, Luca, from what we heard yesterday, He recruited both DeAndre Ayton and Marcus Smart. That's an interesting story because there was no discussion. They were straight up like, as soon as word came out, they're going to the Lakers. So this looked like that Luca was on the campaign trail in both cases. Sounds like he called both of them up probably before they were considering buying them out, and say, listen, if you want to get bought out, or if you are thinking about getting bought out, come to LA. I will feed you. I will feed you and feed you until you guys get your next big contract. What else would he have said, right? That has to be what he said. I will feed you your next 9-digit for Aiden. And then, of course, for Marcus Smart, Mark, just stay on the court, and
Yeah, you're
I'll
31,
find you
man.
open.
You're 31. You could still get another big
Yeah, I'll
contract if
find
you
you
want.
open. That's the one thing about Marcus Smart. He might not be a really good shooter, but if he's open, he's going to take it. He's not.
Well, and you know something, to his credit, he's a poor man's ball handler, but he's got a little bit of a handle nonetheless. And so if you got him out there with Austin and LeBron and Luca, it's a different element for sure.
Mhm.
Especially with Aiton, you got four guys who can handle the ball out there with Aiton. So that's not a there are advantages to that JJ can roll with.
Yeah, I think it's not a risk. So at this point, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, then you can just let him go. It is, or just play it out. It's not a the Lakers right now still need a little luck from these guys staying healthy, a little bit of Laravia coming onto his own, and of course, I think DeAndre Ayton might be the safest bet out of those three because we know he's 26 and we know that he wants to get paid on this next big one, and he will if he ends up playing really, really well.
You need Adu to at least play 15, 20 minutes as well.
I think if we can get 20 minutes from we can get 20 minutes from Marcus Smart, that'd be
Yes,
huge.
I think he could around 18 to 20. I
But I
think
think
that's manageable.
I think DeAndre Ayton is playing 27, 29 minutes. I think that's going to be a norm. But I do think the Lakers need a backup center. I'm sorry.
Number
I know
one, yeah.
Jackson Hayes I think he's a third center. I think he's good as a backup during the regular season, but they're going to need someone to kind of rest up Ayton if he plays. If he's in the playoffs, he's going to need to play 30 to 35 minutes, which means you got to give the other 18, 12 minutes to somebody else. They have to get
Mhm.
a backup big.
Yeah, we can't have Rui and LeBron playing the
Unless
backup
somebody's a
five
power forward that
anymore.
can
Yeah.
slide over there, depending on the kind of offense they're running at that time. But I think they need a backup center. I don't want Rui playing center at any point. Okay, let's see here. Dennis, Joe, thoughts on Joy Taylor? Oh boy, I really like Jason Taylor, and I haven't gone all in on Joy because I have a lot of respect for her brother. But I'm going to leave it at this. I don't I don't get a lot of anything from Joy Taylor in terms of sports information. I think she's a doll that they just wind up and she just talks. However, if Fox News, and before you got here, somebody was asking who would I rather work for, ESPN or Fox News. Now, granted, she's been let go from there, but if she was still there, I actually wouldn't mind having her as a co-host.
Hmm.
And I would sit down with her before. I'd be like, Joy, I don't really like the way you articulate sports. I actually don't think you really know much. How can we fix this problem? Do we do it on air? Do you say things and me just go and kind of create that fake chauvinistic type thing?
Yeah, kind of like a lot what Joe Budden does with
Right?
Melissa Ford. Yeah.
Right? Do I do that?
Who's still smoking, by the way. Wow.
Very, very. And
Just saw her the other
Joy's
day. Oh my
Joy
God. Yeah.
is
A
Joy
smoke
is
show herself. Yes.
Joy is a very Miami attractive as they get.
Very curvaceous.
So there could be some play in there. There could be some jabs that I think
Hmm.
could light up the phones. That's what they used to do, anyways. So I wouldn't mind. Again, I have a lot of respect for her brother, and that's what's kept me from really going all in on her because I do think she fails in information reporting because I think a lot of it is she doesn't really know. I think she box scores too much. Now, that's just my observation from what I've seen. Maybe she does pay attention, but it doesn't show on the show. She goes too much into the opinion without enough backing. I want to know, Joy, why this particular player did this. And I'm going to tell you on the show so that everybody can know. Now, are you going to feel stupid? Are you going to get insulted when I do that? Are people going to be on your side because I'm a dick? I don't know. That'd be something that would have to happen for us to be able to gauge. So it's funny. I actually have been wanting a female host, but I don't know anyone that knows sports. Not one. I'd have to recruit. And I mean, I'm sorry, guys. I've seen. I'm gonna get myself in trouble here, Sean.
Oh, go ahead, Joe.
I've seen podcasts with female anchors, and they're 99.9% horrible. Some are able to speak, but they don't know shit. They need to know a little bit, something.
If she
Even a
was,
pretty
if she wasn't on ESPN, I think you'd have good chemistry with Mina Kimes because she knows her
she's the
stuff.
one that's kind of sort of come out of the muck. She was talking about cover. It's funny you bring her up today. I was just turning the channel and she was talking about she called it something else, but the Tampa 2 cover 2. Oh, you know what I
She
know
knows
she
her
knows what a cover 2.
terminology.
I
Yeah.
wasn't surprised at her knowing the cover 2. I know that. That's her job. But it was the way she put it into her discussion. I was like, "Oh, nice. I like that. Very nice." So yes, good call on that one. But again, I'm going to still come off like an asshole because I know more than you. And
Hmm.
if I sense blood, I'm maybe a little bit more hard on those who don't know. Now, because she's a female, it's going to come off like I'm trying to upstage a female. And you're probably right because I know that the reaction is going to be that it's because of that. Dennis, you are the man. You've asked some amazing questions, man. Keep it up, baby.
But that whole crew is cool. Like even like I wasn't a Dolphins fan, but that whole crew is cool. I played middle linebacker. Anyone who plays middle linebacker loves Zack Thomas. Like you will fall at the feet of Zack Thomas as a former linebacker. That guy he was a kid. He got run over by an 18 wheeler. His head went over an 18 wheel tires, Joe, and he still lived to be a middle linebacker in the NFL. And by the way, Jason Taylor married his sister. So I'm with Joe. I don't want to go all in on this group because they're cool and I don't want to besmirch anybody.
Yeah, that one's a tough one. I can't. I've always liked Jason Taylor. I thought he was everything. Every
Classy.
he was always class. Yeah, the as classy as classy can get. And when you talk about Zack Thomas, my memory of Zack Thomas, besides his amazing football career, is and I think this is probably why they related to him too. Again, he wasn't this 6'8" middle linebacking psychopath. He was this 5'9.5", 5'10" on a good day wrecking machine, and people identify with that because he looks like them, but just more of his head was the size of a
Of
TV.
a watermelon,
Right
yeah.
now, the other thing is he had some good stories about him during that time because him and Larry Izzo were best friends, and
Oh,
they
I didn't
both
know that. I
they
didn't know
lived
that.
they lived like college kids in the NFL. Like they were dirty and they were messy. They were like typical boys, and a lot of people don't know this, but women like that kind of stuff sometimes too. They endear to the Oh, boys will be boys. There's a
Mhm.
scene in School Ties when the boys are. This is a Brendan Fraser movie with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon from back in the early '90s. There's a scene where they're all singing, right, and they're sitting there and in the dorm room and they're doing their thing. And I always remember this because I had a lot of girlfriends in high school, meaning friends that were girls, and I'd go and watch. I mean, if people may have, if I didn't look the way I looked, people would have thought, oh, this is their gay friend. No, I didn't look any. Everyone knew I wasn't, but I had a lot of girlfriends because there was a safety thing. They felt safe around me, and I was, of course, always a gentleman. But I remember I used to watch a lot of Dirty Dancing movies and those things with them, and then of course when we watched School Ties, yeah, they were just like you could just feel the. I used a different phrase at the time, but you could feel the heartbeat. Oh my god, boys singing in their underwear and tank tops, like you could feel the estrogen go up in the room. I'm just sitting there going, all right. So yeah, so Zack Thomas again, part of the endearing part of him was that I think he related to a lot of people, and he was a good man, good teammate, good everything. I mean, he as good as you can get at that point at that time. Let's see. I'm sorry, I forgot Johnny's question here. Johnny, Joe, I have a better question. Will this Dodgers team, as constructed, make the playoffs? Johnny, yeah, they're going to make the playoffs. The question now is, will they have an issue with the big three going into the playoffs? And the issue is right now is I don't have any issues with Ohtani. I think Ohtani will be Ohtani no matter what. But is Mookie going to get out of whatever he's getting on? Mookie has never had a slump like this. Mookie's never had a slump like this. And Mookie is starting to hit the teens in his tenure. And Mookie has been in pretty much the playoffs every year since he's been a player, even in Boston. So is his age, his time, is it starting to catch up all those deep runs into the playoffs? Is it starting to catch up to him? Usually a baseball player starts to go down right around that 12-year mark. That's where he is. That's a question we want to ask, especially when it's someone who uses his athleticism as a base, someone who uses his speed, someone who uses his freakish athletic ability. A lot of people don't know this. Most people do, but not a lot. Mookie Betts is a freakish athlete. This guy can play any position. He dunks at 5'9". He is a freakish athlete, but he's just humble about it. Doesn't really show it off too much. Well, except on a baseball field and the bowling alleys. So I don't know if that's what it is, but don't be surprised if it is. So that's kind of where I'm at on Mookie. Freddie Freeman is dealing, and he just got hit in the wrist yesterday. It's like one thing after another with Freddie. It's either he's getting hit by the ball, he's rolling his ankle, he's breaking a rib. But the thing with Freddie is, I always say this, he's kind of like Ben Roethlisberger. A lot of times he plays better when he's hurt, and he can play through pain. So I don't really worry about Freddie. But if one of those guys is not playing well, and the other two are okay, that's going to be a problem. That means guys like Pages, guys like Muncy, guys like Will Smith are going to have to play like they did in June out of their minds to cover those issues. In June, if it wasn't for those guys playing well, this team might have been in second place right now. The 5, 6, 7 guys really, because Edmund was hurt. Teoscar was hurt even before then, but he's still reeling a little bit. So I just want the big three to be shooting on all cylinders by the playoffs, because I do think the pitching is going to be there. The pitching will be there. They're going to have at least 3 legit starters going to a series, which is usually enough. And then they'll have Ohtani as the 4th, and then whatever piggyback guy they want to put in there. So they'll have 5 pitchers that are going to create at least like a pseudo 4-starter setup. And that's really all you need. You only need 4 pitchers in a 7-game or a 5-game series. That's all you really need. You don't need 5-man, 6-man. Obviously, you don't need a 6-man rotation. You don't need a 5-man rotation. You really need 3 for sure. If you've got 4, then you're in good shape. The Dodgers need to, in this last 2
What are they
months,
missing, Joe? You watch this team every game. What are they missing? What are they missing?
I think they're missing focus.
Hmm.
These plays that they were missing yesterday were in the outfield was bad.
Just basic stuff. The
You cannot
basics.
you cannot throw an error on a third out with runners on base up 3-0. If Edman gets and it was not a like acrobatic, like it was a hard hit ball to third, got the ball. You got to get him out. You get him out, it's 3-0 going out of that inning in the third instead of 3-3. That resulted into a domino effect that created a 3-3 tie. You get out of that, you throw that ball where it needs to go. And then of course it's he's not a third baseman. I'm like, I understand that, but it's still it's a throw you have to make as a baseball player. It wasn't like it was teetering the line and you have to get backhand it and then jump and throw it. No, you don't. This was not a Manny Machado, skill type.
Standard professional
Yeah,
baseball
he
play.
had to have made that throw, and and I'm sure Edmund knows that more than anybody. Freeman is a gamer, but he should have taken a few days off. I think Freeman really needs to take like two weeks off. But Muncy getting hurt and just kind of where the Dodgers are playing, I don't know if that's going to be possible. Do you think the Rams will go far? I think Rams win the NFC. I have no idea how well the Rams are going to play. CMB, I have no idea.
So
I
saying
can't
that,
gauge on them.
Joe, how would you rank the rosters in the NFC West?
I think the
Seahawks,
Niners.
Niners.
I think the Niners. The Niners were decimated. I mean, it was one of the most injured teams I think I've ever seen in
Yeah, them
sports.
and them and the Lions. They just got
Oh my
destroyed.
God, it was bad. Like I was just like every week, every day. I'm like, dude, what the hell is going on in San Francisco? If they stay relatively healthy, you still have, which I'm not a really big Kyle Shanahan guy, but he is really good at putting game plans together. And if his guys and developing talent, that he's good at that. Problem is he can't close. That's his issue. Like the last 8 minutes of a football game, he is horrible. It's like that sheet he has dies at the 8-minute mark
Like melts,
in every
yeah.
game, right?
Like melts, yeah.
But I think San Francisco is going to be a threat. LA is going to play well, but I feel like I'm always waiting for Matt Stafford to finally get tired. I actually thought he was going to I thought he was going to retire last year a little bit. Well, actually, 2 years earlier, I thought he was going to retire a year later, but then he kind of looked like he got rejuvenated. I don't know. Maybe it was the money. Seahawks, Sam Darnold.
Don't trust Darnold in another system,
No,
Joe.
no,
Now that he doesn't have KOC's.
I don't. I don't. Yeah, McDonald he's kind of like a McVay. He kind of talks to quarterbacks. Shanahan too. Yeah, Seattle, Darnold. Now that they remember what I told you about adjusting,
Yeah,
is Darnold going to adjust to
to a
sneaking
deep.
up on everybody last year? It's an open. I'll tell you what. It's going to be a competitive division. It's going to be a competitive division, and anyone who wins that division, it likely won't be a surprise to me.
What other? Who do they play in the AFC? The
The
NFC West. Who do they play? Do they play
I
the
haven't looked at the schedule for
South?
them.
I think they might play the South because you guys play the East.
Let's see here. Do 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 do. So, why can't I find anything when I want to here? See, this is why we have to prepare before. Okay, here we go. So the NFC West. plays the AFC South.
Those are going to be some competitive games, man.
Mm-hmm. Football, football, football. I will say this. Philly has a chance to repeat. It's not likely, but they got a chance. It's just a matter of, did they stuff themselves? Some guys go stuffing themselves, Sean. You don't want to go into the unknown not knowing. You don't want to go to the unknown not knowing. Oh my God. Everyone's still looking at us go, what the hell are these idiots talking about? You guys will get used to it as we continue to talk. I think those scorers needed defense and clutch scoring, so that immediately decreases the amount of people. Hold on. Joe, do you know bend over? I've known bend over for years.
I can't believe there's actually an NBA writer named Bend Over. There really was.
I was talking about the other thing, but I do
Yeah.
know he's talking about that guy. Yeah. we'll never not be immature about that one. I think
Never.
the scorers needed defense. CMB, are you talking about the Dodgers on that one? I'm kind of confused on that one. I can't see Shaq winning a three-peat with McGrady. Hell no. No way.
I don't
That,
even think they get to a finals.
no, I don't. They don't win shit
Personally.
with McGrady.
Personally.
McGrady was soft. If Shaq was ever in shape, would he have won more titles? Uh More so than shape. I think it was his sometimes in his head he'd give up. And the proof there is the first 6 years he was in the league, he got swept 5 out of 6 years. So he came into the league in 92, 93. So the 93 season, they Orlando went 41-41. Didn't make the playoffs, but huge improvement. I think it was 20 games from the previous year.
Mm-hmm.
And then he made the playoffs in 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. So before that 2000 season, the first 6 seasons, he was swept 5 out of 6. Now, I'm sorry, but you cannot be that dominant. Even Shaq was pretty damn dominant the moment he came into the NBA. If you're that dominant, you cannot get swept 5 out of 6 seasons. That's horrid.
Mm.
So Shaq, more than being in shape, I think his focus gave up a lot. That's what sweeps are usually for a guy that talented. I just think he quit. I think he quit too quickly. Allen Iverson was a dog. Yes, he was.
He was.
Shaq said a whole lot of McGrady and Curry winning with him easily. Curry barely won with what he had now. You're telling me with just Shaq and Fox and those guys, and he would win? How? How would Curry play in the early 2000s? They would have roughed his ass up into the third row. See, this is what pisses me off about these athletes, and this is part of the couch thing that Jeff talks about. This is the part where you have to circumvent the couch thing. Shaq saying that being an all-time great is ignorant, even worse ignorance. Curry does not free flow in the early 2000s like he does now. You have to factor that in. He would have got his ass whooped. He wouldn't have gotten those shots. So Steph Curry in replacement of Kobe. Does he win at least one? I don't think Phil would have had an issue with Steph, so that's a good thing. I think Phil would have had an issue with McGrady. Definitely had an issue with AI. Vince Carter. I think he would have pushed to have Vince Carter traded for Jason Kidd a little bit more. I think that's what would have happened eventually. Steph Curry. The beautiful thing about the Phil Jackson teams is you don't need a traditional point guard, so it would have worked. He would have devised a game plan to get Shaq as the primary still, But the second you drop down the Shaq, especially especially in an era with the zone. See, the zone didn't get implemented till 2002.
Two. That's
So
correct.
I would say it would have been better if Curry was on Shaq's team in '03 through '05. That would have been a better duo than in 2000 through 2002 because you couldn't guard Shaq with
One.
a shadow. You couldn't shadow him. It was illegal. So that means what? That means somebody's going to be in Steph Curry's face at that time because they're
So
not going to
you
drop down.
Yeah, exactly. So you'd have at least a handful of either offensive fouls or 3 5 second violations, Joe, because nobody can guard Shaq 1 on 1 or leave Steph Curry open. So
Correct. Now, here's the other thing you got to replace. Kobe was the first team all defense in 2000 and second team in 2001 and 2002. I think he was he
mhm.
first team on in '02? I think it was second team still,
He
right?
was second team in '02.
Okay.
Yeah.
So '01, '02, second team all defense. In 2000 he was first team all defense.
Hmm.
How are you going to replace that? Because I'm not seeing Steph Curry blocks Arvydas Sabonis in game 4 to close out that game. No. I don't see Steph Curry blocking, was it Rasheed Wallace's shot in that fourth quarter to kind of get the run going? Guys, people
and
out there, they're
and
only
and
doing this.
and Kobe playing with Duncan and Hakeem CMB. It. I don't have a real good disagreement for you that he would have won more titles with them. He would have been a different player, though.
No doubt.
He would have been a completely different player had he played with those two. He's dominant, ball dominant. So are they. Something would have had to give there.
It's I think the Lakers won with Shaq and Kobe what eventually as much as they would have won. They should have won 4. They
Hmm.
should have beat Detroit and that probably should have been it anyways.
Seeing as how when see what really pissed me off is seeing the Spurs beat the Pistons because I was like, we should have beaten them.
Yeah. And there's no I don't
We should have beaten them.
yeah, and Kobe took blame. Took Kobe took blame for this. He took accountability for the loss in Detroit, and it was his fault. You can't have Kobe. What did he score? 6 points in game. What was it?
Hmm.
Game 3. Yeah, that can't happen. That can't happen. Not from Kobe. So my only gripe is that loss. If they win that series and everything goes the same way, I sit back and go, it went its course. They played 8 years together. It was time to split up. Just like when the Bulls split up in 98. They won, they still split up. It was time. It was time for several reasons. Number one, I think Shaq and Kobe were tired of each other. And I don't give a shit what they say, if, ands, or buts. They did not want to be around each other. It was time to break up. It was a divorce that needed to happen. Everyone knew it. And then at that point, too, as a Laker fan, there needed to be a focus on the next setup. Time to build on the back of this 25-year-old Kobe Bryant. He's already got, if he had won that series, 4 championships. Now let's go get another 4. But unfortunately, we didn't get that. There was too much turmoil. There was too much just drama that was going on at that time. It took a few years to get it right.
I have a question for you, Joe. Since you're an observer of the human behavior and condition, why does Shaq go out of his way to lie about common stuff we know is true? Like great example you just gave about him and Kobe getting it along like cats and dogs at the end and despising one another. Lied about that, right? Lied about David Stern asking him, "Do you want to play somewhere hot or cold?" A couple months before the lot. Why does he make this stuff up, man? I'm just curious. Why do people do this?
people lie or embellish stories because it it it, it makes them look better. The embellishing, and I'm a victim of that. I was a victim of that for back in the day. Maybe not to the extreme of Shaq, because the thing with Shaq is, dude, we saw your shit. Like, yours is on tape. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Are you hanging around with John Sally too much? John Sally, that quote about Phil Jackson not letting Kobe get 100 points. I'm like, what are you talking about? Did you even watch the Toronto game? Oh, Phil said this. I'm like, did Phil know the future?
Yeah, no.
I go, you know how many times Kobe hit 20 points in the first half of games? Like half the year. No one at halftime was thinking of 81 points. The only reason why 81 points happened in that game is because Toronto was whooping the shit out of the Lakers, and they were whooping them through the third quarter. And then all of a sudden, they're like, oh shit, Kobe just dropped 30 in the third. It wasn't, I was watching the game. So you can't sit there, and I remember it. And I've seen the game over and over again since. I'm like, dude, how has no one called out John Sally? Like, dude, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Oh, there's some records that shouldn't be broken. I'm like, Phil Jackson had no idea that shit was going to happen. If he did, he would have sat him in the fourth. Oh, but wait, he couldn't because they were losing.
I always thought it was more interesting that Phil sat him in the Garden when he could have broke Mike's record, but that's just me.
Maybe he wasn't talking about that game, but
No, he's
I
talking about the Raptor game.
yeah.
That makes no
But see, you have
sense
to
to me.
understand here, Sean. The reason why I said that is John Sally's a pothead. You know how
Yes,
I feel about potheads. Potheads
yes,
are the brains after a while. I've been around
yes. Swiss
potheads.
cheese. Yes,
Okay,
Swiss
Swiss cheese
cheese.
after a while. Like every time I listen to like they keep repeating the stories. They keep like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, are you high right now?
Yeah,
No, I'm
exactly.
not high. I'm like, well, whatever the hell you've been smoking is jacked up your brain now. But anyways, lying, embellishing is part of the superhuman.
The confabulation, eh?
There you go, confabulation of that person going, hey, I wanna be a little bit bigger than what I really am.
Right. Okay. All right.
Which is sad too, because Shaq
It
doesn't have
is.
to do that. He already did shit that was crazy good. Why do you have to embellish? Stop lying. Stop lying about. I think the one that was the worst with him was, oh, I was just being a promoter. I'm like, bitch, you weren't a promoter. You hated Kobe Bryant. What are you talking about? He hated you even more. And I blame both of you dumbasses.
Yeah.
I do
Don't.
blame both of you.
Yeah. Don't tell me you were Jimmy Hart, man. Come
Jesus
on.
Christ. I'm like, no, no. You hated Kobe. You were jealous. You pulled that shit with Penny Hardaway before. It's just that Penny Hardaway wasn't as determined as Kobe. Penny Hardaway maybe was a little more maybe reserved, right? So don't tell me that shit. And in the end, all I wanted was that win in '04. If they win in '04, to me that whole run would have been perfect for me. That's the only thing that jacks up that run with Kobe and Shaq is I want that loss. But if you go if they had won that series and you come back to me, oh man, if they had just no. That's exactly when it should have ended. It still is the same. It still should have ended then. But it's just missing a trophy. Because you can't lose to the fucking Pistons, really? Rip Hamilton? You lose to Rip Hamilton and Tayshaun Prince? And you're Shaq and Kobe in your primes? I don't give a shit if Carl was hurt. I don't care if Gary Payton wasn't listening to anybody. I don't care if Horace Grant wasn't playing or Rick Fox was injured and Fish was on one leg. Dude, you're Kobe and Shaq, man. You guys should whoop their ass. This wasn't the Spurs you were playing with just you guys. Come on. No, no,
Well, it's not like
unacceptable.
they had yeah. It's not like there were scrubs after them either. I mean, you still had Devin George.
No. Yeah. I'm just I'm not gonna I'm not gonna enable these guys with that bullshit.
I think the Clipper. I think. Okay, so here's the deal, right? So this is interesting, Joe. Very, very interesting. The last two great guards, the last two, that the Charlotte Hornets drafted, they immediately traded. Do you know who those two guards are?
They drafted two guards.
They in their history, they've drafted two great guards, and they traded both of them on draft day.
So Kobe's one. Second one.
SGA. They drafted him and they traded him to the Clippers.
Oh shit! I didn't know that. I had forgotten about that. No, I didn't know about that. Wow! Holy crap! You heard it here, guys. Something I didn't know. That's why Sean's here. Covers the gap.
So, like, look, Joe, I understand being in the position you are as a billionaire, and you're probably listening to your basketball people tell you that, yeah, I mean, we've done the analytics. Paul George and Kawhi, they're gonna get us to a finals, Steve. SGA was ready to pop, Joe. And why you couldn't convince, just give it a year. Just give it a year with SGA. If you don't want to play with him, but when you capitulate to these guys, Joe, sometimes you end up eating shit, right? It's like the criminal mastermind Benny Fazio. Sometimes they gotta eat shit.
You. So here's the trade-off. Here's the trade-off. Had they stuck with SGA and not did that trade, they'd have had to sit and watch the Lakers probably three-peat.
Oh fuck. Well, that's funny. That's a
There's
hell of a
no,
choice. That's
there's
a hell
zero
of a
chance,
choice.
zero chance, because I have no doubt if Kawhi is there for 2020, it's less taxing for LeBron and AD even in that year, and they won. 2021, less taxing again throughout the year. The Lakers had the best defense with AD not even playing most of the year. So imagine if they had Kawhi. Then you have 2022, which wouldn't have happened, where they traded for. We would have got our dream. We would have got our dream matchup with Boston in 2022. Man, Kawhi really screwed everything up, didn't he?
It would have
Kawhi
cleared.
screwed LA and LA. He screwed his own town. Well, he's from Riverside, actually. Not the same thing, but
No, it would have been a ripple. It would have been like a ripple in the space time continuum of the NBA if that
damn,
happened.
that would have been so good
We're all going sideways. Yeah.
Dodgers would be. I'm sorry, the Lakers would be sitting at 19 championships right now, probably, at least.
But yeah,
Because even if they don't three-peat, I think they win 3 in the next 4 or 3 in the next 5.
I mean, I think the worst case scenario for us, with injuries and that, is that we end up a playing team this year. That's kind of where the Clippers are. Gonna have to play Chris Paul and Bradley Beal with James Harden. Oh, good luck with that, Ty. Good luck with that.
Well, thoughts on CP3 to the Clips? Clippers love spending money to always get eliminated in the first round. I don't. This is a novelty pick, I guess. Maybe some benefit here and there, but I wish Chris Paul a happy last year and feel bad for him because if it wasn't for the veto, he would have been probably a multiple champion right now, at the very least one.
He would have here. Well, here's the thing, Joe. Not only would he have been a multiple champion, he would have won Defensive Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
He would have if him and Dwight are playing. They've already given it to Dwight 3 times at this point.
Yeah.
No, They would give it to Chris. So he missed out on I think a lot of individual accolades and the titles. Man, yeah.
It's too bad. Factor in defense,
Joe,
scoring.
Joe, what do you think was a bigger razor's edge for negated trades? Barkley to the Lakers or CP3 to the Lakers?
CP3. Yeah, CP3, because in the end, Barkley would have went to a team without Magic, so that wouldn't have mattered if Magic hadn't gotten sick.
If Barkley, if see again that got a point there because at that point he's retired. But if Doctor, there's a story that Doctor Bus is going to drive over to Magic's house and try and work this out. Because if you had Magic and Charles Barkley,
I,
Joe,
I,
they're gonna take one of those Bulls titles.
and something to consider too for Charles's career, other than Dr. J, which was he was done at the time. Barkley and Patrick Ewing never played, in my view, with any all-time greats in their prime. Never played with them in his prime. So if you have Barkley there with Magic still being able to do what he does,
Joe, it's so sad. You know the best front court player that the Philly put around Charles Barkley? Rick Mahorn. And that's the year Charles won the rebounding title and finished second in MVP voting to Magic, and Philly let Mahorn walk. And guess who he walked to, Joe?
the
Guess who he
Sixers.
walked to? Yeah. Like you just
You have to be fortunate in so many ways when you come into a team. You could you could be let's use Matt Stafford as an example. He came in. If Matt Stafford goes to New England, let's just say Brady retired in '07. He had been in the league before, right? And then somehow they get the worst record, and then all of a sudden in '08 they get Stafford, and this is not out of the realm. I mean, it happened in Indianapolis, right? They were able to get
twice.
Andrew Luck, right?
Twice.
When Manning got hurt. But
Hmm.
so, what kind of career do you think Matt Stafford would have had with uh, with Belichick from, let's say, '08 to 2018? He's in the playoffs. He probably wins a title, right? But since he went to Detroit and the Fords are like the Bidwells and McCaskies, they old school owners, old school thinking that are still riding that old wave with new money. It really does matter. Archie Manning, speaking of Manning, Archie Manning gets drafted by the New Orleans Saints, which at the time were the worst team ever in anything. Imagine if he had gotten drafted by Dallas or Pittsburgh. He would have been like Terry Bradshaw or Staubach in terms of having an all-time career. So it does matter sometimes where you go. Patrick
Well,
Mahomes,
yeah, but no,
yeah. Patrick Mahomes, I think would have still been good, great, maybe even, but he became elite beyond greatness because the perfect coach was coaching him too. So factor in defense, clutch scoring, and dealing with Shaq, who was hard to work with and sacrificing. I mean, Kobe was sacrificing. He sacrificed for the first 8 years of his career, no matter what.
mhm.
And when you talk about the comparisons between Kobe, LeBron, Jordan, D Wade, Gilbert Arenas, Allen Iverson, all these guys, there's one thing that's different from all those guys, even Shaq, is Kobe never came in to a team where he could just be Kobe. He had to accommodate. He came into a winning team already, and
Mhm.
he was a special player in that he was the first perimeter basketball player to ever go from high school to the NBA. Every other player was a big.
That's
He was the
correct.
first. So you're talking about a guy that was probably 6'6", 6'5" at the time. He might have grown while he was in the NBA. I don't know. Weighed maybe what, a buck 80? You're asking that guy to come play with men at a time when they were really men, like they're big boys. Like it's hilarious
I think to me
how
he
big
was
those guys were compared to the guys now.
I he might have been 6'6", Joe, but I think he was 6'5", because towards the end of his career, there was a story that He was with a kid from Texas for a charity event, and the kid asked him how tall he was, and Kobe said, "I'm 6'4 3/4."
Yeah. See, Kobe was honest. He probably went without shoes and socks and got the official. So I don't mind them giving us the height of when they're wearing shoes because that's what they're playing in.
Yeah, it's that bullshit like for blue chips, like Neon Bordeaux,
7'4".
7'4". He's like, I'm not 7'4". He's like, you're 7'4" when you play for us.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And Shaq in real life is 6'11".
Right. Same thing with Ricky Rowe. Ricky Rowe, 6'11". Meanwhile, he's 6'8 and a half.
In basketball, if you measure off the shoes, I get it because you're playing with at that height on the court. So I'll give him that one. Let's see here. Dennis Joe should do an IRL stream. I don't know, Sean. Do you see me doing that kind of shit?
No.
I'm not I may look like a guy that might not be private, but I am. I don't really like people in my stuff. It would have to be. I guess. I guess I wouldn't mind hosting something like an Anthony Bourdain type thing. I could probably do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Not. I'd rather do movies. I'd rather be an action star, but I think it's kind of cool to maybe if you're going to a beautiful country, a beautiful island, and you're kind of going through whatever setup they have there and talking about it with the locals and eating good food and having good drinks. Yeah, I could do that. I don't know if I would want to do that as a primary though. I think I need a little more juice. I need a little more action. Phil told Kobe to stop scoring so much so he could get Shaq more involved. Not many people can sacrifice like Kobe did. Yeah, that's exactly what happened there because Shaq would fall asleep when he wouldn't give him the ball. But that's most big men. It's just that Shaq was more loud about it. Joe Soro, the Cowboys have arrived for training camp in Oxnard. Have you ever been to Oxnard? I have been to Oxnard. I saw the Cowboys this one time there when I just happened to be in Oxnard. And yeah, I mean, it's Cowboys are the Lakers of the NFL, even as crappy as they are. Very, very popular team. Yes, thank you, Sports Baby, for that. Sports Baby, thank you for that. Kobe actually averaged more versus Spurs than Shaq did. Yeah, because they, like I said, they were afraid of Kobe more. And if you watch those series, even when they've kind of contained Kobe, he comes out of nowhere, grabs a rebound, and puts it back in, or he'll do a step up, step back, he'll shoot a three at the end, and pretty much rip your entire heart out on a after you've been up 7-8 points. I still remember. I think it was game three in 01 when Kobe hit that shot to close out game three. No, I'm sorry, game two
Game
because they
two.
they started in San Antonio in that series. Oh my God, that was, and then Duncan had put the jersey over his head. He knew it was over after that, and then of course the Lakers and proceeded to win by 39 and 29 in the next two games.
The best one-on-one battle I ever saw in the NBA was in the 2008 Western Conference Finals when Kobe and Manu just went one-on-one against one another.
It's a beautiful thing. Two good players, and Manu was called the Kobe of Argentina or something. I remember during that before he was drafted in 2000.
What Spike Lee, man? What would Kobe say? That's a bad boy right there.
Yeah, he was. People are forgetting.
So you're talking about a legend, talking about
No,
another
he
guy,
he came through. Manu came through.
and
Manu,
there were only a handful of like pure off guards that Kobe had respect for. Brandon Roy, Manu Ginobili, Ray Allen. There were only a few. There were only a few that he respected.
people also forget the defense Kobe had to play against perimeter players during that era. Yeah, I think I'm getting at these comments probably late, as some of these guys might have
He had
posted them.
No, it's just because
Yeah, that's yeah.
he had to guard Jason Williams one night, and then he had to guard Sean Livingston the next night, and then the next night he was up against Mitch Richmond or he had to
There's no doubt on the defensive side that Kobe was number one, and there's not even a question. If there is, then you don't know shit. You don't know anything. List your Super Bowl champs for next season, World Series champs for baseball, NBA champs for next season. Super Bowl champs.
Look, man, I gotta cop out on the Super Bowl picks. I don't really make my Super Bowl picks until like like the middle of December. That's when things start clearing up for me. Right
Huh.
now, if I had to pick two, man, okay, go with the Lions versus the Chiefs.
I'm gonna go Philly again. Super Bowl champs, Philly. I don't see. Obviously, things can change with injuries and all that, but they're still stacked. They have that experience, and I have not seen anything that says that they're not going to still be as badass as they were last year. World Series champs. I think the Dodgers will get through the muck that they're in and win it all.
Mm-hmm.
NBA champs. That's going to be a tough one. I'm gonna go Denver.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say Western Conference team.
I'm gonna say Denver for right now. Who was the head coach when the Lakers won their first NBA title in LA, not Minneapolis? Bill Sharman, 1972. He was an ex-Celtic too. Casey Jones was on that staff as well. So it was kind of, I'm sure it was odd for Boston people to see Sharman and Casey Jones celebrating in that locker room after they won in 72.
Oh fuck! Yeah, well, goes for us too. Because I would have loved to have seen a picture of Don Nelson drinking champagne in the Lakers jersey, winning a title instead of with the Celtics. But fuck.
Yeah, that would have been weird. Good question there, pal. Who holds the Lakers franchise record for most total rebounds? Kareem? I think Kareem. Let me check. Lakers rebound holder. Well, totally forgot about Elgin Baylor. It's Elgin Baylor. Elgin Baylor, just by a hair. Elgin Baylor had.
Well, Elgin played 13 seasons for the Lakers.
14.
For
They each played 14.
excuse
Yeah.
me, yeah, 14.
Yeah. And Elgin had 11,463.
But Elgin played in more games than Kareem did. Kareem
No,
had
no. He played 146 games, and Kareem played 1,093.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. And then Kobe's third, by the way, with 7,000 rebounds.
I think Kareem might be number one for the playoffs, though.
Probably. Let's see. Fox. Who was the first Laker to win league MVP?
Wasn't it George Mikan?
I don't think they had an MVP back then.
I'm pretty sure they did in the NBL. Let me double check. I'm
If
pretty
it's
sure.
not Mike, if it's not Mikan, it was Kareem. NBA MVP. NBA MVPs. So the MVP start.
NBL most valuable player, 48. So it wasn't with the Lakers.
It just wasn't in the NBA. It was in the NBL. So the MVP started getting passed out in 1956. That was the first year. So 1956.
But they still credit him as an award winner, though.
Kareem won, and yeah, Kareem was the first in 1976.
Center, Minneapolis Lakers. He's credited with one MVP.
Cool. Just not in the NBA.
Just not in the NBA.
Yeah. In what year did the Dodgers move from Brooklyn to Los Angeles? 1958. What stadium did the Dodgers temporarily play in before Dodger Stadium was completed. I think they played at the Coliseum. What future Hall of Famer did the Dodgers trade away in 1998
Mike
for
Piazza.
Mike Piazza? And that was Charles Johnson was in that, Eisenreich was in that, and the Partridge in a Pear Tree.
Man, that guy was so good.
I got the Rams. I love Jared Verse.
What
Don't be surprised if Jared Verse is the defensive player of the year this year, by the way.
the one thing I always remembered about Mike Piazza, he never swung at the first pitch. I never saw him swing at the first pitch ever.
He wasn't he didn't have the sweetest swing, but it looked like
He was thinking about it all the time. It
it
felt
almost
like
felt like the ball would stick to his bat and then he would push it out. That's what it always looked like. Before becoming a Finals MVP elsewhere, the Lakers.
But Joe, like so, I'm not sure how if you have a big Italian community in Temecula, but the Italian community, at least here for baseball, loves Mike Piazza. Loves Mike Piazza.
We still love Mike Piazza. He was my guy. He was the last favorite player I had in sports.
Really?
Yes, it was him and Magic. Those are my two favorite players of all time. Uh, when they traded him, I actually felt like the Dallas Mavericks fan base. I
Oh
was really
shit!
pissed off.
Oh.
I had kind of shunned the Dodgers for probably about 6 months. I was really upset. That was a horrible trade. Horrible
And
decade for Dodger baseball, by the
why'd
way.
they make it? What was the reasoning? The rationale? Money?
Fox had just took over. They thought they could get someone like Sheffield, get someone like Charles Johnson at the time was the best defensive catcher. So I think what they thought was you get Gary Sheffield and then you get Charles Johnson. You get two players for one guy because Mike wasn't known as a really good defensive catcher. There was ongoing jokes about how you could have a turtle stealing from him and he couldn't throw him out, which was kind of true. Before becoming a Finals MVP elsewhere, this Lakers backup point guard briefly played behind Nick Van Exel in the late 90s. Why am I drawing a blank on this? Finals MVP?
Because I remember Fish was supposed to be Van Exel's backup, and he usurped him. Trying to
Wait, hold
remember.
on. That's a trick question, you prick. You're talking about Kobe Bryant, aren't you?
And by the way, Kobe backed up Eddie Jones. He didn't back up Nick Van
You
Exel.
got me on that one. That's Kobe Bryant. Look here. I'll name you the Finals MVPs. Okay, after the 2000 Shaq, 2001 Shaq, 2002 Shaq, 2003 Tim Duncan, 04 Chauncey Billups, 05 Tim Duncan, should have been Manu though. 06 Dwayne Wade, 07 Tony Parker, 08 Paul Pierce, 09-10 Kobe Bryant, 11 Dirk Nowitzki, 2012, 2013 LeBron James. There you go. That's funny. You tricked me. You almost tricked me, pal. That's a good one. Rams have a lot of rookies.
So for you, that Piazza trade for me for the Lakers, that would be Eddie Jones.
They had to trade Eddie though.
Yeah, they did, but look at what he did.
But
15, 5, 3 shot almost 40% from
they
three.
wouldn't have traded him if they knew Phil was coming the next year. Phil would have wanted Eddie Jones, not.
Come on, man. You'd have the first all defensive NBA guard and then the second team
You got to
all
understand, man.
defensive guard.
You got to understand this. Okay, see, that's what's great about Phil. Phil didn't need a traditional point guard. He just needed. at the time, everything was geared towards position basketball:
Mm-hmm.
point guard, scoring guard, small forward, power forward, center. You didn't really need that in Phil Jackson's world. He could have put Eddie Jones as the 3 and made it work. So, yeah, I think if they had known, they would not have made that trade. But I still love G Money in 2000. I thought he was a perfect third guy. Hey Jeff, what's up, man? Where the hell are you? Known for doing the dirty work, this forward was key role player during 2000 title runs, and even had a signature towel wrap look on the bench. Was that EC Green?
It's either AC or Foxy.
No, it was AC Green. Good questions. This big man started as center during the 2002 Western Conference Finals Game 7 versus the Kings when Shaq got in early foul trouble, held the line. The big man started at center. How does he start at center if he got in after foul trouble?
Another trick question, Pale.
You're going to need to rephrase that word. Sorry. This veteran catcher hit a crucial pinch hit home run in Game 3 of the 2020 World Series, sparking a comeback. It wasn't Austin Barnes, was it? Why don't I remember that? I'm sorry, Joe.
What
We are
was
winning
that?
the Super Bowl and the NBA championship. I think you got the NBA championship possibly, but not the Super Bowl. I think Bo is a few years away. You can have the Dodgers, though. This bullpen arm with a legendary beard and playoff mojo closed out multiple games in the 2017 postseason. Major Beard? Closed out the games? That wasn't Kenley? Was it Kenley? It's Kenley Jensen. Which journeyman hit a walk-off home run in the first game as a Dodger in 2009, then disappeared back into obscurity? Which journeyman hit a walk-off home run in his first game as a Dodger? I don't remember that one. Good questions, though. I got to go look. Everyone remembers Mike Scioscia, but with backup catcher also homered in 1988. Mickey Hatcher.
Mike
Think you're right.
Mike Scioscia has the best lines in the Simpsons softball episode. Mike Scioscia steals the episode.
But that's funny. He steals the episode.
He does. He does.
So he's not just stealing the episode. There's an actual stealing of the episode.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I have to look at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mickey Hatcher, Pale, on that
He
one.
ends up dying from plutonium.
Joe, are you going to watch the
Exposure.
new Happy Gilmore movie? Dennis, I don't know what the hell. These questions, man. Please like and subscribe. You got to
By
be
the
on the
way,
show
I'm
more.
not a huge fan of commercials. I find they insult our intelligence. But that one with Shooter and Subway is
Yeah,
really, really
it
good.
is. It is.
With Christopher
So,
McDonald. Shout out
Dennis,
Chris
I'm
McDonald.
gonna tell you a story. I've said it on the show, I think, a few times, but I got accepted to San Diego State in 1995. Went to orientation that summer before we ended up moving a few weeks later. So my friend Tony and her mom, because my friend Tony also applied, she got in. So we took a trip down to San Diego for orientation. Went on campus, did what we did there, enjoyed it, and then that evening we checked into the hotel, which coincidentally was the same hotel I ended up working in a year and some change later. Got a lot of good stories in that hotel too, by the way, G. Or Sean, sorry. And so we're winding down the evening. It's now getting a little late. We're sharing a room, separate beds, of course. So mom, being the sweetheart that she is and always will be, she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed, guys." And she's in bed with her mom, and I'm in the other bed. And she goes, "You guys want to like watch a movie and kind of just like watch and go to bed?" We're like, "Yeah, sure, sure." Yeah. She's like, going through the thing. How about Happy Gilmore? We know who Adam Sandler is. And again, at this time, we didn't look at Adam Sandler as a movie guy. Like he was an SNL guy. But I mean, Billy Madison was good, but I wasn't really into Billy Madison. Really, I just thought it was an okay movie, and that was it. So we play the movie. Mom is just wanting, okay, guys, have a good night. We'll see you in the morning. Goes to sleep, and then we start watching the movie. And then movie's going the way it is. Some good moments at the beginning, and then Chubbs comes in, and Chubbs goes into his little dialogue of they wouldn't let me play on the Pro 2 anymore. And then Happy's like, oh, I'm sorry about that because you're black. He's like, hell no. Damn alligator bit my hand off. The second that hand came out, and as you're watching him talk, the arm is like 10 feet longer than everything else. We could not, I'm not exaggerating. This isn't Shaquille O'Neal or John Sally exact. We could not stop laughing hysterically. Like last night, I was laughing. Remember how I got on and I was dying laughing? Imagine that, but 10 times worse. We could not stop laughing for the next hour because what was happening is we're still laughing at that scene and his hand. And then they keep saying more and more stuff, and we're laughing at that, remembering his hand. And then she's laughing because I'm laughing. I'm laughing because she's laughing. And then mom is like, because, she's a sweetheart. She's not going to be upset. She's just, that's not her personality. She couldn't like, my God, what's going on here? Like, what are you guys watching? So we're laughing because we're trying to stay quiet so mom can sleep. So there was this, we were engulfed in every kind of igniter to laugh, trying not to laugh, laughing because the other person's laughing because we saw something 10 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, and then laughing at the shit that just came up. Like it just kept building and building. We laughed the entire movie basically. And
it's about 100 minutes of laughing.
that was we left and we created a 29-year memory that has never lost its
I'm
energy.
sure the people above and below you have that memory
We were
too.
dying. We were laughing so I have laughed watching See No Evil or Hear No Evil pretty hard. I've seen The Toy with Richard Pryor. This so happens to be Richard Pryor movies when I was growing up because that guy was something else. I remember laughing at those movies hysterically when I was a kid, right? This one took the cake and it's still taking the cake. Like I have not I think the only one that got close, not even close. The only one that was in that world was I think I watched Nacho Libre for the 30th time, and for some reason, it was one night when he flew. When I heard the cat sound and he flew, like I lost it. Woke up my wife at the time. I lost my sight. I couldn't believe how funny it was. Anyways, so last month the trailer came out, right? And of course, I had heard that Happy Gilmore 2 was coming out. I was like, why, But I saw the trailer and I saw Eminem in it. It was funny. I was like, oh shit, this looks like it's gonna be good. And then it just came to me. I said, no. Called up my friend Tony. I said, Tony, Happy Gilmore 2. I just saw the trailer, is coming out. I just thought of this right now. I said, I have to watch this with you and your mom. Because she still lives back home. She moved back home. And her mom always stayed there. I said, I cannot watch this movie without you and your mom. I go, 29 years later, we got to do it together. Oh, she's like, oh, that's a great idea. Here's what I'm going to do. I'll tell mom, and then I'm going to get one of those screens outside, like the inflatable screens. We'll watch it out there and have drinks. And I'm like, oh, fucking perfect. Yes, that's exactly what I want. I go, and then she's like, but, like, what I don't know about the schedule right now. I'm like, no. It's not until the 25th of July. She's like, oh, perfect. I'll set it up. So I'm going there on Friday. I'm going to be there. I'm driving up north on Friday to go watch the second one. And I'll try to send a video or a picture to kind of commemorate it. Man, it's seriously, man, 29 years later, this is where we are, man. It's pretty crazy.
Did she also graduate from SDSU,
No,
Joe?
she ended up going back. She works for she's had kind of like a career in the local government over there.
Okay, okay.
And yeah, it's she has a much crazier life than I have. I'm a little more, I guess, when you look at my personal life, I'm a little more conservative than most. Uh, she was a little bit more of a hellraiser.
Okay.
Nicknamed the Penguin, this squat, quirky third baseman became a playoff hero during the Dodgers' 1981 championship. Isn't that Ron Say? He just got he just got honored at the at Dodger Stadium the other day.
By the way, Joe, before we get into something else, I just have something to ask you. So, as far as predictions go, what are your predictions for the college football championship?
I have not.
It's never been as wide
I
open
have never seen it this wide open. I
in
have no idea.
in like yeah in
No idea.
35 years of watching football, college football, Joe. It's never been this wide open.
No idea. But if that new recruit comes, that I mean, I know it's a freshman quarterback, but if that if Josh Allen, which by the way, a lot of his comps is Josh Allen, if he indeed is the truth, um, that's going to be interesting, especially with the Ohio State thing. Um, I don't know if I can. I don't know if you want to put that kind of pressure on a legit rookie. I'm sorry, legit freshman. The other thing is, I don't know if Sharon Moore is somebody I feel all the way in yet with. He did make me feel a little bit better after the Ohio State win, but the thing is with Ohio State, Michigan, that supersedes coaches to me. There's too much
Mm,
of a rivalry there to ever base that off of, oh, well, if it wasn't for this, even though there have been coaches that have lost consecutive, like, Harbaugh was getting killed for a minute there. But there's just something about that. It's like the Ravens Steelers. Now that I'm going to talk about this with it doesn't matter, man. These guys just play different when they play each other. It's just one of those things. But
I'm
I have no
my
idea. I have no idea
yeah.
yet. Yeah, no idea.
I'm gonna go LSU and Georgia.
I'm just going to say Ohio State again for right now. I just that's their recruiting class. Now that your favorite coach has got this thing off his back, he's gonna want blood for Michigan from last year. Ryan Day is, you can say a lot of things about him, but one thing you can't say is he does care,
Hmm.
cares a lot, and his emotions are on full display with all that.
Oh, look, Joe. Ohio State has the best college football coach in the land, Brian Hartline. That
Mhm.
guy just keeps producing all pro wide receivers in the NFL. I'm very surprised that no NFL team has brought him in yet.
Maybe Ohio State won't let him go.
It's
Well, you just
possible
stay here and you're tenured for the next 50 years, and your kids can go here.
because he was a decent NFL wide receiver. Nothing to write home about, but these grinders end up being the best coaches, Joe. I don't know what it is. In all sports. It doesn't matter. Like Joe, the only legend that ever made a ruckus as a head coach was Joe Bird. That's
Mhm,
it.
mhm.
That's it. Gretzky couldn't do it. Magic couldn't do it. Um, we could go down the list of baseball. There's only one. It just these grinders who are in the league like 10, 12 years, they understand locker rooms, they understand communication. They're the ones who always end up winning at the end of the day.
That's good. I think I think Ohio State, in terms of linebackers and receivers, it's a factory beyond a factory, and I think it'll always be a factory. I'm crossing my fingers that the exception in terms of Ohio State quarterbacks. I know CJ Stroud is making his strides, uh, but Ohio State has struggled to produce quarterbacks. And if by some miracle Will Howard becomes a franchise quarterback as a 6th-round pick from Ohio State, that'd be a miracle. That would be a miracle in itself. And it's a perfect setup for him too. Aaron Rodgers, barring an injury, is gonna play the season out, and you get a chance to sit behind one of the all-time greats and really, really learn. And maybe that might benefit him in the long run. I don't know, but I'm not dreading this season for the first time in a while. I'm excited, really excited to watch the Steelers play. Last 2 years, I just kind of felt like they were missing so much. This year, they're not really missing a lot. They still need something, but there's so much mystery behind it too that it's making it very intriguing. So it's going to be fun. Annie's prediction is Ravens, Steelers, AFC Championship, and Rams, Eagles, NFC Championship. I'm game for that. I'd love to see that. Who I'd rather play in the Super Bowl, I don't know. Steelers don't necessarily play Philly very well, especially in Philly. I think they haven't won there since what was it, 1960 something. It's been like forever. Like they can't win in Philly. It's weird. I think 67. They've beaten the Rams in the Super Bowl before, 1980.
Joe, just out of curiosity, how do you think your Aztecs will do in the Mountain West this year?
I don't know. I might go to a game. They're not too far from where we're at. I've been to Snapdragon Stadium. It looks like, you know what it looks like? It looks like a high-end high school football stadium in Texas. You know how Texas likes to do up their high school stuff.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
high school stadium in San Diego, but Texas would have that kind of a stadium for their high school team, and it's fine. It's where Qualcomm used to be, and they made way. At least they didn't build freaking apartments there or condos. They actually made something functional. That I saw the monster trucks there, but I think it was too small for the monster trucks. I think that when I saw them the year before at Petco, I thought Petco was a better spot for the monster trucks. So it'll do. At least San Diego State has a place to play football. Like they actually didn't have one. Really, it was somebody else's stadium. This is actually the Aztec Stadium, which I wish they would have called it the Aztec Stadium instead of Snapdragon. Is not a bad name, but come on, dude, it's your football team. Just call it Aztec Stadium. Let's see here. Alan, good to see you, Alan. Rui or Braun playing center works just not as only option. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that option ever. Warren Sapp or Khalil Mack. Ooh.
If we're talking inside, it's Warren Sapp. We're talking off the edge, it's Mac.
Well, you have to pick Sapp. Sapp's a Hall of Famer. I don't know if Khalil Mack will be a Hall of Famer. Joe, would you have
How many career sacks does he have right now?
I don't know. I think he's getting close to 100.
Man, it's hard to keep you out if you got over 100. It's really hard.
Hold on, I'll find it. Khalil Mack. Sacks. Oh, shit. He does have over 100. Oh, yeah. He's going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He's going to Hall of Fame, and he's the only player that I don't think I remember anybody winning or getting on the first team twice.
Mm-hmm. At two different positions.
Has that ever happened?
No, he's the first one to do it. He did it as an edge rusher, and he did it as an outside linebacker.
That's just wow. Denver sports. Joe, would you have a threesome with Malika Andrews and Joy Taylor? Okay. If I wasn't married and they weren't married, Malika's married to McMiniman. Joy, I believe, is divorced. The answer is yes. A resounding yes. Very much so, yes. Did I say yes? I don't know if Smart will start given 15 games played in 2 years. Yeah, it's up in the air, but there's nothing else to. because there wasn't anything given up. It's easy to just wish it into existence. I want Malika Andrews in my bedroom. It's not a bad one to want there, Joe and Gerald fanboy. Let's see here. Joe, Selma Hayek, or Sofia
Some Hayek.
Vergara?
Some Hayek.
Selma Hayek when shit. I have no idea.
she's
Jeez.
she's hot for the first time. She
I'll take
was
Sophia
on
right
screen.
now. If I had to pick, I'll just pick Sophia. Joe, what's your favorite movie? Bronx Tale. Joe, if I was a milkshake at 3 a.m., would you drink me? No, I wouldn't. Joe, which NBA
Buddy,
player would
are you trying to give us the old Harry Carey SNL?
Harry Carey here?
If you
If you're
were
hey,
if you were a spare
hey
rib and you
Norm,
were starving,
it's Colin. Norm, Colin, whatever. If you were a hot dog, would you eat yourself? I know I would. Joe, which NBA player would be a Hall of Famer in the NFL? Right
right
now,
now,
I could see LeBron being a Hall of Fame tight end. Yeah. I could see LeBron being a Hall of Fame tight end. Yeah. LeBron James. Zach, the guy was a 5th-round pick, ended up in the Hall of Fame. Zach. Is he talking about Zach Thomas? Zach Thomas. It's probably Zach Thomas. He was a 5th-round pick. His family has said the tire marks were literally imprinted across his body. Wow.
that's crazy. That's
Damn, we're
crazy.
really behind on these comments. I'm sorry, guys. Sean, how are you doing, bro? Long time. Good to see you. So, I know Sports Bay want to say hello. He survived with just minor injuries. Okay, good. Let me catch up to some of these. Sorry, guys.
Having an 18-wheeler roll over your head.
Joe, best Asian athlete that played in the U.S., Ichiro or Yao Ming, not counting Otani.
Yao Ming.
Yao Ming had more impact, but Ichiro had a Hall of Fame career. So I'd say best Asian athlete, Ichiro. And I'm going to put a honorable mention for Tynes Ward. He's half Korean. Hey, Ox. Hey, Jeremy. How you doing, bud? Mission dope shirt, Sean.
Oh, thanks, man.
I've been trying to promote your channel on other channels, man. Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Anyone who's here for the first time, I know the numbers are going up a little bit. Please like and subscribe. Hit the notification button. Football season is coming. NBA season will be here in a few months. Baseball's getting hot now, probably in the next month, probably more. So there'll be more dialogue. There'll be more production value. I got some things that may be coming up here soon. So get ready to see some production value enhancements. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy. Dennis. Joe, have you ever been tricked into almost joking a cult?
Almost joining a
Join a
cult?
cult?
There's a
Yeah,
lot of them
yeah,
in
yeah. It's
There's a
called
lot of them in California.
yes, it's called multi-level marketing. That's a cult. Joe got me interested in baseball, by the way. Yeah, thanks, Jeremy. Again, that's the whole point here. We are here to promote. We are promoters. We're promoters of sports in a good way. Joe, do you know Jack Me Off? I do not. Jay, sorry. Never met him. Joe, can I get your thoughts on basketball movies like Mike, Coach Carter, and Semi Pro? Semi Pro, I would say, is probably the one I would prefer over those three. And my favorite scene is Jackie Hurley. I'm sorry.
Jackie Moon.
Jackie. Not Jackie Moon.
I got cat piss. I got cat piss in my eye. I got cat piss in my eye.
No, that's not. No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about Jackie Earl Haley when he plays Dukes.
Dukes, you okay?
Dukes. The way he laughed when he makes the shot and he wins the $10,000, and he's like, "There's Dukes getting his a board with the $10,000 on it." Like, to me, the movie was okay, kind of holes in it, a little too many holes in it. But that scene for me is the memory of Semi Pro. That's my favorite scene. Ox, can we discuss how this Marcus Smart signing isn't it. He is a chucker and is injury prone. Not a good pick up, in my opinion.
He's a trucker. It's true. And he has
I
been injury prone the past couple of years. We're trying to look at the upside here.
We just want him to play defense for 60 to 65 games in the regular season and then be available for the playoffs so that Austin Reeves doesn't have to kill himself. Thoughts on Klay Thompson dating Megan Three Stallion? I think he could have done better. Much better. Yes, Joe, what are your favorite basketball movies, mate? My favorite basketball movie of all time. I mean, I really did like He Got Game. Like that, whenever it's on TV, I watch it.
I have to watch it. I've said this before. Very similar to the relationship I have with my father.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah. But I did love White Man Can't Jump too. I watch that anytime it's on TV. So it's really a tie between those two. It's like one or the other. Let's see. Catch up here. We are paying homage to Magic Man's shirt. Jaws was a great movie. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Gotta catch up to some of these. So Mark said, Sean, we miss you, bro. Get WhatsApp. You're off WhatsApp? You haven't been reading the shit that I've been saying about you?
No.
Oh my God. Are you serious? Dude, I've been making up the fucking most bullshit things. Like I'm
pretty sure
I've been like, and everything starts out with, and like Sean Grice always says, and I just pull shit out of my ass that makes zero sense.
I know you. I started becoming in tune to it about 2 weeks.
You knew about it though, right?
Yeah, I did.
Oh man, I thought you were reading it. Shit.
Well, for the most part, I was. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know why. I just started doing it a few weeks ago, and I'm like, yeah, it could be random. Somebody's talking about some normal shit, and then I'll just say it, and no one usually responds. They're just like, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Why is he talking like that?" Which is the point. That's what I'm trying to do. I never watched Laker Nation unsubbed once I found Mark. Lane is very clickbait, and for some reason he has so many subscribers. It's great. It's because he's been around for a while and he's nice. People like nice. Trevor Lane. Oh, he's also an inside guy. Like they let him in their doors and shit. And they don't, he doesn't say anything bad about him. Trevor Lane got punked by his students as a substitute teacher. Really? Gotta learn more about that. Yeah, punked how? Trevor Lane is actually covered in tats. You would know. Oh wow, I didn't know that. Shoot, learn everything. Just keep learning shit here. Yeah, it's just not something you would think him having. He looks so clean cut.
Like Bill Gates, he's tatted.
Yeah, that'd be funny if he's full
from
sleeve.
head to toe, wearing those freaking cardigan sweaters all the time.
He's like, that's why I wear these, because I got to cover up my neck tattoos. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up here a little bit. Why do the Lakers miss on all the better players and go to the Clippers? The Clippers didn't get anybody, guys. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, Bradley Beal.
Jeremy, don't worry about it. Clippers will clip. They did not get better. Okay. Aaron is here. Aaron, what's up, bud? Can the Dodgers beat the Twinks? I'm going to find out here in about, well, the game started, so I'm going to be bouncing here in about 5 minutes, but I'm catching up to all your stuff. Let's see here. Top 10 shooting guards of all time. Is Klay top 10?
No, he's not.
As good as he is, no. Let's see. When Kobe went off in 2003, Phil had to tell him to dial it down for Shaq when he came back. Yep. That didn't work out too well in the end, too. Anyone else notice these weird new members with bizarre names like Joe? Yeah, Jeremy, this is what happens when you start getting popular. You get fanboys coming out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. From the 2020,
I blame Gerald for the weirdos more so than anyone else.
The player who led the league in minutes per game is Doncic. He ranked minutes played as he led the league in category. That's pretty good. I didn't know that. Good job,
yeah, but he's fat.
It's okay. Let's see. Xbox, take off your clothes. Tiffany MD. I'm going to guess that your name isn't Tiffany and you look nothing like her. You probably look like a guy wearing a thong sitting in his half shirt. Let's see here. Gotta really catch up. This chat is classic right now. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here that were missed. Let's see. Uh, Back on topic, Joe. How is a torpedo different from a normal bat? Well, so the torpedo bat, it's short, it's smaller on the top, and then it expands in the middle. So just think of a tampon. You know, when you open a tampon, it has wings. It's kind of the same with a bat, just not as accentuated. Okay, Tiffany, look, we're a half a family show here. And if you're going to ask, if you truly are a woman and you're asking another man to take his clothes off, you have to prove that you're a woman first. And then we'll take you seriously. Joe is a damn robot. I've been called that before. My feelings sometimes don't come out as nice. Let's see. Where are we? I was telling the boys today.
Joe, speaking of the Cowboys being in Oxnard, uh, is Jerry Jones going to make Micah Parsons the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL? Now that TJ Watt is the most highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL.
Yes. Yes. The answer is yes. My God, how far did we let this go down? Sorry, guys, I'm trying to catch up here. So here, Mission had a question. Which player did the Lakers draft twice?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay. It's got to be from the. So the Lakers have drafted multiple baseball players, multiple. Same player twice. So it's got to be from the. Got to be from the. From the 60s. Because I'm not. Nothing from the 80s. 2000. No. So this is like pre 72.
I can't find anything. We'll probably. I'm gonna go down, and maybe he'll have the answer. Yeah, Joe. I suggest you watch the Smurfs. Sports Baby. I'm gonna have to talk to you about that. Okay, so Tiffany Amendez says thoughts on black women, Joe. Uh, are you talking about like looks?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Didn't Elgin Baylor decide to go back to school? Like I remember him being drafted and then he decided to go back and then he.
Yeah, but Sean, what's your favorite porn movie? Showgirls. Basic Instinct. I don't have a favorite triple X movie.
No, I'm sorry. Like, what was that one with Alyssa Milano? What was that one called?
I remember her getting, yeah, but I don't remember the name.
Whatever that one Alyssa Milano was
Yeah.
in.
I don't the only movies that pop into my head is Debbie Does Dallas, which I never watched. Uh what was the other famous one? Deep Throat. Deep Throat. Debbie Does Dallas. What other porn movies are out there? I have no idea. I have no idea what there. Oh, there was, but I didn't watch these things. But I did see clips years ago with there was a I guess it was the most expensive porn movie ever. It was kind of loosely based
Pirates.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, the other one is Edward Penis Hands. There you go. I saw a clip of that years ago. Great. Now I'm gonna have to get online and look at this shit. Anyways, shoot. These are I think it's very original questions, guys. I like it, even if they're kind of goofy. But yeah, the thoughts on black women, that's interesting. I feel like somebody's setting me up there for some weird reason. For what? Joe, if Russell Wilson goes back to back and completes the pass in end zone for Marshawn, how does that change Wilson's legacy? I think if he goes back to back, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Right now, I think he still might get in, but not a first ballot. That changes history in so many ways because I think Tom Brady leaves earlier if they lose that Super Bowl. By the way, that's probably the bigger story. What are some of your favorite MTV shows? Yo MTV Raps was something I remember watching every now and then. The Bill Bellamy used to do interviews with celebrities. I thought those were kind of cool.
Beavis and Butthead.
The number one is Beavis and Butthead, though. Yeah, number one. It's still my favorite animated TV series ever. Is Beavis and
I
Butthead.
can watch. I like. There are certain movies that you like. Joe was saying when he got game comes on. Anytime Beavis and Butthead Do America comes on, you have to watch it.
Yeah, Wilson. If that happens, is higher than Roethlisberger, Eli, and maybe even Rodgers, but probably not Rodgers. Not Rodgers because Rodgers was a four-time MVP and a Super Bowl winner and a Super Bowl MVP. But Russell Wilson, not only you have to look at the whole thing with him in that those 2 years. How do I put this? He's not better than Roethlisberger. I don't know about Eli. I still would take Eli over Wilson, just a hair, especially in clutch games. Definitely not Rodgers. But the thing is with Russell Wilson is he would have beaten Peyton Manning in his greatest season ever, and he would have beaten Tom Brady and Belichick back to back. Even though he was a better version of a game manager, probably the greatest game manager of those years because their defense was amazing. But I don't think he's a better quarterback than those three, even if he had won that game. And he would not have won an MVP. Also, well, Roethlisberger didn't win a Super Bowl MVP either. But I think Roethlisberger could throw that football over the mountains. Let's see here. OXperiment. Keep an eye out for Drip Show giveaway for you. Thanks, brother. Anything, man. Anything. By the way, Drip Show, guys. Drip Show, Drip Show, Drip Show. You want sick ass gear and sick ass paintings and everything you could think of, Laker, Dodger gear, anything you want. Hit up Drip Show. Go on Instagram. Go to his ex, Drip Show. Look for the Drip Show. Extremely talented man and an even better human being. Chauncey Billups became Finals MVP after backing up Nick Van Exel. Not for the Lakers.
Yeah, you said the Lakers, brother. You said the Lakers, pal.
Was he talking about? I'm guessing he's talking about when Van Exel went to Denver in '98. Is that what you meant? That's probably what you meant. See, we read it the Lakers. If you're talking about he backed up Van Exel in after he got traded to Denver, that is true. So just got to rephrase the maybe he did say Lakers, right? Am I
He did.
hallucinating?
No,
Okay.
he did.
There you
He
go.
did.
Okay. But at least we knew what he meant.
Whatever.
We
We
knew
know
what
what
he
he
meant.
meant.
Yeah. Let's see here. Slava played center when Shaq got into foul trouble during the. Yeah, but he didn't start, Pale. You said start. We knew he covered him. Austin Barnes is the catcher that hit the home run. Yeah, that one I got right. Brandon Morrow, that's what it was. Brandon Morrow, thank you. Brandon Morrow, I forgot about Brandon Morrow. That's a good one, Pale. Juan Castro, one of many one night less. Yeah, that check. Rick Dempsey also homered in 98. Yeah, Rick Dempsey did homer. That is true.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. If I'm not mistaken, Joe, let's get this straight. Nick Van Exel is listed as a point guard. I believe Chauncey Billups is listed as a shooting guard.
Let's find out, shall we? Let's find out. This will be the capper for the night. The biggest mystery will be solved right now. We'll be going for the putt. So, Sean Grice is right.
Oh.
Technically, Chauncey Billups did not back up Nick Van Exel. In fact, his backup was Tyson Wheeler.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Rookie.
Like we're talking about a really bad NBA team right here.
Yes.
It's like very bad.
Very bad. So, Pale, you got to change it up to, well, maybe Chauncey, maybe in spurts that year backed up Van Exel as a point guard. So let's give Pale that. But structurally, that's not necessarily true. They played different positions. And I'm pretty sure they played together in the backcourt, but then maybe when Nick Van Exel got into foul trouble, he would cover him. Okay, yeah, we'll roll with that. With that we'll put a button on that. We'll put a button on that for the night. I want to thank everyone for being here. Sorry it took me so long to get down the chat. Again, when we have guests on here, I'd rather talk to my guys than look down the chats. But you guys had some amazing questions. Some of the new guys, some of the old guys, even the weird stuff. But let me say this, guys. I want to be very clear here, okay? I'm not ashamed to say this. I'm a man. Sean's a man. When Empire Jeff is on here, he's a man. When Gerald is on here, he's a man. We like women. Now, Gerald and I are married. Empire Jeff is married. Sean involved. But the moral of the story is we like women. If you're going to talk all, sexy, please give us proof that you are a female. I do not want any
Shenanigans,
straps.
yeah.
I don't want any straps talking all nice to us. I don't like that. Sean likes, Gerald likes, Jeff likes the females. And you don't even have to be good looking. And you don't even have to be skinny. You're welcome. If you indeed, and you can be black and white. Hey, we're equal opportunity employers. Props to Jeremy Rustin for that, by the way. Y'all don't know who he is, but I always have to give him props.
You could be precious. You could be precious.
We love all the females. But we have to have proof if you're going to talk like that. I don't want you to be some weirdo. I mean, you could be a weirdo, but I don't want you to be a male weirdo acting like a female. Please do us that respect, and you can ask us anything. My wife knows I'm getting these kind of questions. It doesn't bother her. Trust me, she knows what's going on. I mean, Howard Stern did that for 40 years, right? His wife knew what was going on, and he was doing shit 10 times worse than I'll ever do. So let's keep it masculine. Masculine. We're straight here, guys, in more ways than one. And allow us that respect a little bit, and then I'll allow you to do what you want to do and have fun. So with that, Sean, thank you for being here out of Toronto. I know it's a little easier to come on a little early so you can get some sleep. I did think about that. And then, of course, I know that Gerald might have a show tonight, so I wanted to prepare for that. Everyone, again, Pale, Aaron, Craig, all the new guys, Denver, even Tiffany. If you are really Tiffany, please prove it. Thank you for being here. I'll probably have another show sometime next week unless something pops up like a crazy trade with the Lakers. We will be here. We will continue to enhance the show. You will see it soon enough. And have a great morning. Have a great evening. Have a great afternoon wherever you are. And until next time, we'll see you next time.